This is Ali Maxwell and George Ellick from Not the Top 20 podcast, the number one EFL podcast. The first in a regular series of videos for DragonSports.co.uk, looking at the four Welsh sides in the English Football League. First up, we're going to look at Cardiff City. George, they're in the midst of a Championship relegation scrap, and we've identified one key stat that they have to sort out.
Yeah, off the back of the 1-0 draw against Sheffield Wednesday on Saturday, where Cardiff took the lead, the 2-1 defeat at home to Luton back on the 11th of March, where Cardiff took the lead through Callum Chambers, even going back to the 1-0 draw at Plymouth at Home Park in the end of February, where, again, Cardiff took the lead. These are all games where Omaritsa's side have taken the lead and ended up dropping points, and this is happening far too often. They've led in 18 of Ritsa's 33 matches in charge, and they've only won 8 of those from losing positions. Have only picked up 7 points. So, they're a side, Ali, who are getting ahead in games but are unable to press home that advantage. And given the predicament they're in, that's going to have to change.
Yeah, dominance, retreat, anxiety and squandering. Those are the words used by a Cardiff City observer that I spoke to this morning about this. And once a lead gets lost, they don't get back to those initial levels. A lot of things being put forward as reasons for this. Poor substitutions are being mentioned a lot by the fan base. I think it's a real catch-22 for managers, particularly when it isn't a squad with a lot of established performers. This is a team that has been chopped and changed all season in order to find the right balance from the start, the right balance off the bench, and it feels like Riza has found the right balance at the start of games, but certainly not when it comes to who's coming off the bench to maintain the standards in the last half an hour or so of games. I also think there's a lack of experience in the squad and perhaps in the dugout when it comes to both football at this level, but also just relegation scraps and what you need to be the ones to keep your heads above water. Is there a lack of nous perhaps in what is quite a young starting 11 at the moment, and potentially with the manager as well? Riza keeps mentioning the front four and the energy that they're showing to start games as a real positive, and you can see that on the pitch. But with such a young group of players playing behind the striker, is it maybe hard for players like that to sustain it for a full 90 minutes? And it feels like those coming off the bench are just not adding to the energy and not keeping the positivity at the top of the pitch. And when there's less pressure on the ball at the top of the pitch, that weak defensive line gets exposed. And I'm afraid that's what it is. It's a defence that's conceded the second most goals in the Championship this season. I must admit, as a neutral observer, I also think that there is, compared to other clubs, something of a culture of fear throughout the club. I think it comes from an extended period of underperforming teams that the fans have rightly not been proud of and find it difficult to fully get behind. But I think it means there's a nervous energy that sometimes takes hold in the stands, and you can see it emanating onto the pitch as well. And it's really difficult to overcome. It's difficult for one manager, one personality to cut through all of that and quash it. I believe that Riza is doing everything, particularly in press conferences and when he speaks publicly, to fight against this, but for whatever reason it doesn't feel like he's winning the battle, and I think this stat shows that. What's frustrating for me is that I think Cardiff should be feeling more confident. I think they are playing well. The fact they are scoring first so often is a reflection of quality. It's a reflection of a good game plan and good execution of the game plan, and they're playing well for long periods as well, but you just don't trust them to see it through. Since the turn of the year, 9 teams in the Championship have picked up fewer points than Cardiff, so it's not like they've been one of the worst teams in the league over the last few years, but they still can't get their head fully above water. They're so nearly there, but not quite. In the next few games, away at QPR, away at Preston, teams with much less to play for and fight for, they have to show the fans that they can dig deep and get over the line and live to fight another day in the Championship. They have to see it out when they get ahead, as they have been doing regularly under Riza. We want to hear from you, Cardiff City fans. What are your takes on this stat? What do you think is at the root of this issue? Let us know.